What up, YouTube fam? Toxic back with that part 2 video for Guardian Druids. Now, I'm doing something like I did with my Resto Druid guide, where I just jump into the action and I start showing you guys how to actually play the class. The first video would just consist of just, all your basic needs on what you guys need to know on, like the pots, the food, the glyphs, the talents, the gear, the stat priority, all that mumbo jumbo that you guys all want to know before you actually jump into a certain spec. Now, most of this information can be found on Icy Veins or Noxic or any of the forums like that, but sometimes it helps to have like a visual aspect of it. So the first video is consisting of that. I decided to just do like I did the Resto Druid one because I feel that Resto and Guardian are both specs that you need to have some sort of visual point of view on, because you can't just tell someone this is you need that and then them go try to apply it and then not apply it correctly. So this is what this is going to be about. I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible, guys. That way you guys don't get bored to death with listening to me rant about Guardian Druid and all this stuff. So let's just jump in on this here. As you can see, the fight's already going. I'm already talking. And I have not covered anything on the abilities that I'm using. But as you can see in this clip here, I did forget to use or put my interrupt down. Now, Guardian Druids have two interrupts. One which you can glyph into, which is the glyph of Feyfire Silence. That one, it does add a silence effect to your Fairy Fire, so good to have that because it plays as an extra interrupt on top of your Skull Bash. Skull Bash is your other interrupt, which you're going to want to use on certain bosses and certain enemies in encounters. Now, two important things you guys got to know when you guys are playing any kind of tank, not just necessarily a Guardian Druid, but it's tank mechanics and crowd control. You learn your tank mechanics, because if you guys do not learn your tank mechanics according to which boss you are fighting, you can potentially wipe the entire raid. I feel this is the biggest flaw to most tanks out there, is that they think that they're so overpowered that they can just avoid mechanics and they'll be fine. Now, in some cases, you know what, guys, that is true. You can do that. Some tanks can do that. I've witnessed a lot of DK tanks do that. Especially one in our guild. So, but when you're playing different class and you're new to the class and you're new to the spec, guys, follow the mechanics to the key, please. It will really add to survivability. What I mean by crowd control, I'll show you guys in a little bit here when after we kill this boss. What crowd control means is basically keep all the ads in check. Especially if you're in a 5-man, don't let any of them get away, because if they get away, you potentially cause harm to your group or your raid, and you end up killing important players. And as everyone knows, a dead DPS is no good, and then a dead healer is also no good. So what does it take to be a Guardian Druid? Now, if you guys watched my earlier video, you guys already know all the spells and stat priorities and stuff that I went over, so this is just me applying these abilities. So, Pulverize. Please spec into Pulverize. Pulverize is going to be your constant damage mitigating ability, because it does reduce damage taken by 15% by 12 seconds all the time for every damage. Magical, physical, whatever. And you get this by applying 3 lacerates to a primary target and then using it. Now, if you have multiple targets like you see me having here, you don't want to just single target this, because if you do not end up hitting other targets, you're going to lose threat and they're going to start killing other people and so forth. So for an AoE rotation, all we have is Thrash. Thank you, Blizzard, for taking away swipe from us Guardian Druids. Anyway, Thrash. Thrash is going to be your crowd control ability, in which you attack every enemy within 8 yards. It does generate 1 rage every time you use it, and it does drop a bleed effect on them. Now, we also do have Berserk, which lets our Mango hit up to 3 targets, which, is pretty useful. But on a 3-minute cooldown, you don't want to just use it as you know, just because you want to do more damage. It really is not just a DPS cooldown, but it also is a threat generating cooldown. So if you're, you know, lacking the threat and the rage department, go ahead and pop it. And you know, you could even use it defensively. If you're running out of rage and you need to heal yourself, or you need to drop a savage defense, go ahead and do that, and just spam the crap out of Mangle. Generate your rage and heal yourself, or drop your active mitigation, which is just savage defense. But for the most part, Berserk is strictly a DPS cooldown. So as a Guardian Druid, you will do okay damage, you know, nothing crazy, but your self-healing can potentially be very, very, very high if you manage it correctly. So for instance, if you're taking a lot of damage, like you see how I'm taking here, this would be a prime time to use Frenzy Regeneration. As you can see, my health jumped up from half all the way to full, and you can expect that to happen almost every time that you are low on health and you have your Savage Defense up, and you will heal for a substantial amount and keep yourself alive. So for Savage Defense, you're going to want to use this on times like these. Perfect example right there, guys. You don't want to just use it all the time. I mean, though it is just a 12-second cooldown, it does help to you guys to save it for the bigger abilities that hurt more. It does cost rage, so you do need to have built up 60 rage in order to do this. But in the meantime, if you go into a situation and you get in a situation like that where you're about to die and you don't have enough for your Savage Defense, what you could do is pop your other defensive cooldowns. You have Survival Instincts and you have your Bark Skin. Now, those are two really, really powerful abilities which will give you a total of 70% damage reduction on top of the 61% absorption shield that you get from your Primal Tenacity that you get from your Mastery, depending on how high your Mastery is. Mine, unfortunately, is up to 20 or 61% right now. So, yay me. Mangle, you're going to want to use Mangle on cooldown every time. Don't use any of the spell once Mangle is on cooldown, because it's going to be your #1 threat and rage generating ability. Maul. Never use Maul on a non-Tooth and Claw proc, because Maul does reduce physical damage taken or done by the enemy that you apply Tooth and Claw to. Now, this effect can stack up to 3 times, so potentially it'll be, you know, depending on what your eye level is, you know, what your attack power is and all that stuff. Tooth and Claw will reduce the damage by, it'll give you a base 1 for the first one, and then it'll stack up 2 times after that, and that'll give you your, you know, your not your percentage, but it's going to be a base damage reduction. So the Guardian Druid, we have a lot to offer when it comes to mitigating damage. Mostly physical damage, to be honest, but you know, it makes good for those fights where your tank, where one of your other tanks needs to tank ads that do a little bit more on the magical side. So like I said, I don't really know other classes, other tank classes, but you can expect to mitigate a lot of physical damage that you are taking. Anything that counts as a physical ability. So that's really fun right there. Charge, obviously your wild charge is just your level 15 talent that you spec into. You're gonna want to take that, because then you can quickly jump into fights just like this without having to just run up there and thrash around. You know, it does daze the enemy for 3 seconds, I think I want to say, and it just jumps you right into combat without having to, you know, worry about anything getting away. Right here I didn't use it because I was out of range, so I was kind of obligated to just thrash around, thrash and thrash and thrash and thrash, and then use your Mangle, and then you want to spam Lacerate on one target. There's always going to be one target that's going to be the big baddie that you want to drop your Lacerates on, and then use Pulverize, because like I said, Pulverize will reduce damage taken by 50%, and it's going to be your biggest damage mitigation ability that you have as a Guardian Druid. Going over Bark Skin. Use Bark Skin when you're out of the cooldowns. You know, it does have a minute cooldown, so be wary of that, but it does also reduce damage taken by 20% by all sources, just like your Pulverize, but you know, just 5% more. And same thing with your survival instincts. Frenzy Regeneration. Frenzy Regeneration is one of those abilities that you don't want to use just on cooldown. You want to save it for a crucial moment, because if you're just consistently using it just to use it because you want to, you think it's gonna help, what you're gonna do, guys, you're gonna end up overhealing, and you're gonna be wasting a lot of rage, and it's just not gonna be, you know, a good outcome for you guys. So be mindful on some of those cooldowns that you get, because yeah, you really don't want to be wasting rage, guys. Like I stated earlier, that's why you don't want to use your Maw ability on a non-Tooth and Claw proc, because it does cost, I think, 30 to 60 rage, and that's just a lot of wasted rage. And though as a Guardian Druid you do generate a lot of rage, and fairly quickly actually, it can hinder your DPS and your threat rotation and all that fun stuff that you guys can get as a Guardian Druid. I mean, those are basically the abilities that you need. You know, those are going to be your big abilities. Those are the ones you're going to, you know. Other than that, you're just going to be maintaining, you know, your active mitigation cooldowns. As a Druid, you also do get the rebirth. You know, you do get a battle res. Try to, if no one else has a battle res around you, try to save it on Juma Cenarius proc, because if you try to use it any of the time as a tank, you know, outside of bear form, you're gonna probably get hit twice and then you're gonna end up dying. But let's see right there, the opportunity will present itself, and you will get a chance to actually use it when the boss isn't doing anything. Now, this doesn't always apply, because raids are a little different than mythic dungeons or heroic dungeons or anything like that. So just be wary of that stuff, guys, because, you know, as a druid, you are still responsible, or you have an extra responsibility for using a raid revival thing, my Bob. Rebirth. The rebirth thing. You bring your friends back to life, guys. You bring them back to life. Yeah. That thing with the stuff. Oh, God. But yeah. You know, like different type situations with crowd control here. I mean, as you can see, these two enemies require them to be interrupted from time to time, and as a Guardian Druid, if, like I said, if you glyph into it, you will have 3 if the enemy is stunnable. Now, if the enemy is not stunnable, you will only get 2. Both of your interruptions do have a 15-second cooldown. I'm not sure if that is the same for every other class, because I'm pretty sure the interrupt on my feral spec, oh, excuse me, oof, got the hiccups right now. Ugh. Anyway, I think on my feral is not 15 seconds. I want to say it's 8 seconds, just like a Resto Druid's decurse ability. Yeah, I think it's 8 seconds. Yeah, but as a Guardian Druid, you're gonna have both of those. You know, glyph into it. It really helps, so you have an extra bit of interruption there. Let's see, what else can we go over here as a little fluffy bear? Fluffy bear, fluffy bear, fluffy bear. I believe I already talked about the flasks, but I'll go over it again just real quick for you guys. Better alternative to the stamina flask is using the agility flask, because your Ursa Major is just going to grant you so much health with your multi-strikes. So don't even worry about getting a stamina flask, guys. Just go straight for agility flask, because the agility will increase your attack power. So, you know, more threat, more rage, more damage, you know, and if you can out DPS the other tank, then hey, that's freaking awesome. And if you can out tank the other DPS, well, they need a little work. If you guys all know what pre-potting is, pre-potting basically means, you know, you use your damaging potion before the pull. So typically you do have a DBM counter, and you place it down, and you use it like at 2 seconds. I always use it at 2 seconds because I want the most of it. Be sure to carry some armor potions though as a guardian druid, because you will not want to use a second pot on a damaging potion. You'll want to use it on an armor potion, but the armor potion is situational. You don't pop it just right off the bat. It can add another layer of damage mitigation, so use it at your own discretion. DPM should be able to tell you when an ability is going to happen. Like for instance, if I were to get hit by that, I would definitely use them right there. But as I'm not getting hit by anything like that, and I'm not taking much damage, I don't really feel the need to use it. So if I wanted to, I could use another agility potion here, because it is a mythic dungeon, and my healer is doing a fantastic job of keeping me alive, keeping me up. And I'm also, you know, making his job easier by using my own mitigation abilities. So for bosses, you will want to use Savage Defense every so often. Don't just save it, guys, because it will help. Like I said, it's your only, you know, it's the only ability you have that's considered active mitigation. Anything else you look up, it's not gonna say active mitigation, though it does mitigate damage. It will be, it doesn't really count as active mitigation, or, you know, according to the description or game description, whatever you guys want to call it. So yeah, guys, I guess that just does it for Guardian Druids. I mean, there's not much else I can talk about. I pretty much told you guys what abilities you're going to be using, and I talked about talents and all that stuff in my earlier videos. But Guardian Druids are very fun. Druids in general are very fun. Very, very versatile class. You guys can heal, you can tank in the same spec on all three, well, not all three specs, but two of the specs. You can damage and heal. You know, it's very, very fun class to have. I really, really hope this guide was helpful to you guys. I hope you guys learned something, and I hope you guys understood what I was trying to do here. So feel free to like, share, subscribe, whatever you guys want to do. I will be back with some more videos. Not sure, I might diversify from WoW and Heroes of the Storm to something else. So be sure to look forward to any other games I will be doing. And if you guys have any requests to some games I may already have, then or not have, I could possibly get and do guides, achievements, and all that good stuff for you guys, because I'm here to serve, and you guys are amazing, and I can't wait to do more videos for you guys. So with that, feel free to check out our guild website, and we'll leave it down in the description below. If you guys want to join our guild, there's a recruitment page there. We are on Ysera, and that's gonna be it, guys. So I'll see you all next time.